Hey, welcome in, folks. This is Babbaginator. Good to see you, EG. And here we go with the hydrate at the beginning of the stream. It's midweek. We're drowning our sorrows in water. Big stretch as well. And Baba. You lost your most recent roll with it after 8 days. 4 days in Ash Canyon, 4 in Timberwolf Mountain, and you died while goading down into PV. Ooh. Ouch. So you goaded from the exit of Timberwolf Mountain and you somehow misjudged the exit, the goat down. I've done that goat, but it's tricky. There's a couple spots where if you, it's deceptive. It looks like you're closer than you are, and then you can break an ankle or take damage if you're not careful. So goated it many times, but yeah, there's also a number of times where it was not as successful as I'd hoped. You went left. You went to the left side. Oh. I don't know the goat path on the left side. I know the goat path on the right side. We'll see if, we'll probably not get there tonight. Let's see. What's new with me? Had our D&D session last night. A little slow, but we did okay. They ended up having an interesting and surprisingly dangerous encounter with a couple of will-o-wisps as they were returning from a meeting. They met with the semi-benevolent vampire family that oversees a particular village, who everyone refuses to say are vampires, but like the parties decided they must be vampires, but just like all the standard tropes tied to them. Anyways, the on the way back down, in pitch black, navigating down the mountain path back towards the village, the road is lit at intervals with these magic glowing stones that also ward off evil spirits and wandering undead. And someone had moved 2 of the stones out of their place on the road, so there was a gap. And these will-o-wisps kind of descended in and were haunting they were floating and haunting in the middle of the path on the way back. And it turns out will-o-wisps are really difficult to attack because they have a 19 AC. They may be a relatively low-level monster, but they pack a decent punch with their damage, their shock attack, when it connects, and they're very difficult to hit. And so, the party thought at first they would just kind of brush through them, and then really quickly realized the best thing to do was simply to get over the gap to the other side and be safe on the warded part of the path and not have to engage with the combat at all. But there was a moment where they were like panicking because it was almost took out their fighter and caused all sorts of other mayhem. Yeah. But yeah, so that was last night. Tomorrow night we have our other group, and we'll see how that plays out. Okay, so we got a little food in us. We are technically on day 12, so we're actually 2 days in already. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. So what else? What else was I up to? I've spent a good part of today, part of yesterday, and a good most of today was spent working on a project. I'm helping a graduate student who's doing a research project as part of his PhD. Oh, look at that. Part of his PhD that involves, well, I needed to, like, he's not, how can I put this? The work he needed to do, the research, the data set he needed, involved getting information about like user statistics from an online discussion forum. So basically, identifying like who, total posts, so individual users' total posts and total replies, as well, or within a particular time frame are set. And then also see who are the most active participants in these discussion forums. And, some online discussion forum platforms are relatively easy to interact with. They have an API or they're JavaScript based. And so basically what they're displaying is the result of a query. And so you can kind of leverage that to make it work. Not so with this one. This one was more of, I think it might have been built on a like a NoSQL, like a MongoDB or something like that. Anyways, there's no JavaScript interaction that at least is accessible for me. It is at least designated as parsable, like it can be crawled. So that was, at least we were able to do that. But I had to basically write like a custom crawler to crawl the website and look for specific like tags and locations so that I could pull out the specific pieces of information that the researcher needed. So that was kind of tedious. Kind of testing that, getting that working. But at the same time, it was kind of cool to be able to say that I got it working. So tomorrow I'm going to run it over like a larger portion of the website to get a little bit larger data set for it. But yeah, it's kind of cool.
Well, this stuff will come in handy.
Oops, we're here. This. So as far as I can tell, we do not have a hammer. I'll try one more time, see if there's anything hiding. No. Okay, so there's a slim chance that there might be something outside.
This pack is getting kind of heavy.
I heard a yip. There are places to check. There he is. Go away. Go away. Feels like the wind's going to start up here. Okay. Yeah, if I could get a hammer, I'd be doing fine. The wind's going to start coming down hard.
I'm not sure I can carry much more.
Oh, what else? What else is new? Oh, so you know how I've had this problem with my solid state drives occasionally, like, turning themselves off? I am trying a different solution. I bought like a external external drive casing or housing, and am I've moved. Yeah, I've moved one of the drives over to the external. And the goal is basically to see if we can get the, it's still powered by the same power supply, but it's coming from a different, it's not relying on the cables, the SATA cables. It's relying on, USB. And, yeah, so that's kind of been the test to see if that's working. And so far it seems to be working. Are we out of... Okay, we're on to Bannock.
Starving.
Sounds way too windy out there.
drop any of this gear.
Is it still windy out here? Very windy. Not good. You know what? We'll just add more coal. We'll cook more water. Hour and 30. Hmm.
This pack is getting kind of heavy.
Okay, we can drop some of this. Leave a little bit of flour behind. Okay, let's try again. Okay, check the outside here, see if someone left hammer around outside. Oh, the wolf is coming back.
I wonder if I can drop any of this gear. use this. Hope nobody needs this anymore.
Okay. In and out.
This pack is getting kind of heavy.
I gotta go around here via the... No, we'll just look for... likely places for the hammer. Hey, Bloody Cactus. Welcome in. You're doing well. I'm going to give you a shout out. Don't know if you have any clips, but we'll find out. No clips.
Somebody.
You don't have any clips.
We gotta be close this time. Up.
Oh, there you go.
Come in the door. Come in the door.
Just slow.
Alright. Oh. Now we have to survive whoever else is in.
We're, I think, day 12 or 13 now. Day 13. Looking for the hammer on Coastal Highway in hopes that we can go do a forge in Desolation Point. But there's a possibility we will be out of luck and it will just be a trip to Desolation Point and back with nothing to show for it. Well, that was wonderful. There we go. Yay, another flare.
I'll take it.
And matches. Look at that. Not exactly what we were looking for, but still promising. Did anyone do anything for St. Patrick's Day? Other than running D&D, I did nothing. And my D&D session did not plan on anything St. Patrick's. Should I have thrown a leprechaun in? No. Pot of gold? Nah. Blarney stone? Lucky rock golems that you can kiss and change and gain an advantage on your next attack? No. Yep. Looks like we're going to be in storm again.
I'm not sure I can carry much more.
Wow. Second pair of combat pants. What is up with that?
This will come in
Ooh.
handy.
Might not have found a hammer, but we're finding some good loot. Have to repair those. Yep. Our good friend Crackers.
This pack is getting too heavy to carry.
You think? Hmm.
I can barely walk with this much gear.
Yep, and they burned down. They burned down the last of Hammertown.
I'm not going to be able to carry this.
That was probably ill-advised. Throw it underneath the bed. Yeah. Oh, we can make more pancakes. Let's see if we can find a spot.
Come on, little fire. Come on. Oh, yeah. That's a good one. This pack is getting too heavy to carry.
Okay. More pancakes. And more porridge. Ugh. Oh, we don't have a sewing kit anymore. No, we have a sewing kit. We don't have any cloth. We can fix that.
I'd eat anything right about now.
Okay. Let's see. Where are we going to go? Those gosh darn wolves. They burned down all our homes. All the Hammer homes got burned down. So one of the things I've been realizing is how I have set myself up for stress every week with my D&D games, because I have them start at 7, but I tell people that they can come as early as 6:45. I get back from work at about 5:20, 5:30. So really I have 1 hour to eat a meal and plan the session if I haven't planned it already. That's my fault. It's totally my fault. Yeah. So one of the things I've been toying with is whether or not I should sacrifice like that Wednesday nights, like tonight, if I should actually not be streaming and I should instead be doing encounter design planning sessions. Except for that would really only benefit the Thursday group, not really the Tuesday group. So I think the other option would be to Monday night not stream. If I'm most likely streaming Wednesday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or probably Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday, I think it's more realistically, then maybe I should take Monday off and plan my encounters. TPK. I just wipe them all out and start over. Yeah. Well, the Tuesday group has had enough sessions and done enough things that they have graduated to level 4. But the Thursday group had a cancellation, so they're a week behind. So they're still very vulnerable when I'm planning encounters. I want them to be challenging, but I also don't want them to be always, TPK, likely, right? So, but I do push people hard. Not for the sake of punishing them, just because I think that I have high expectations of them. I believe in them. I believe they are capable of great and impossible things. Oh, I have done weird stuff. Not necessarily random tables, but I did, so the group I was running D&D for at UBC, we had one campaign wrapped up with them in an alternate, parallel version of their world, which they didn't realize is what was happening. in which Lovecraftian eldritch horrors had taken over their world, cut it off from their normal gods, their original gods, and transformed the whole space into kind of a weird Wild West. In which, in the desert, one of the most terrifying things in the desert is a desert kraken, something that lurks in the sands of the desert, that suddenly and inexplicably will launch its tentacles through the dunes and pull travelers and caravans into its steps. Oh, Curse of the Azure Bonds.
I can drop any of this.
Those were classic games. Hey, I'm not ruling anything out. There's
Will come in handy.
one character in my current Tuesday campaign who doesn't realize it, but probably, most likely, an magic heirloom in her possession, really her arcane focus, is in fact something that came from that parallel dimension. It has no effect or power at the moment, but it is... I don't know if anyone's ever seen the anime Outlaw Star, but in it, it features... it's kind of a pre-Firefly space western type feel, in which
It's getting kind of heavy.
magic users use guns called casters, which... which take different types of shells, each of which have been, the shells are of different sorts, and they're all different spells. So the magical shells, magical ammo for this magic gun. Yeah, I think we got that. Oh, we didn't. It contained exactly what we expected it to contain. See? Okay, so I think we're so close to being done with Cabin Fever. Guess we'll go. I don't think the hammer is over here, but we'll check.
I could eat anything right now.
Oh, free matches. We'll take those. Nothing.
It's a dusk, so I can't be far behind. I can barely walk with this much gear.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff to tear up. Okay, we are good. Nice. Well, I do have someone who is going to be gone from our Tuesday night game for at least a few more weeks. But I don't think I want to turn her into the big bad. Let's see what we got here.
Come on, little fire. I'm not sure I can carry much more.
Oh, sounds like the Aurora's coming. Okay, let's go through and tear up everything we don't actually need. I always said a party rule: if someone could be in session, the character was there until they're not. They're not there in combat, but if the player is missing, is the rogue, they can still unlock doors. I think everyone has their own little house rules for handling that. One of my DMs in the past used to refer to it as the character bag of holding, or the bag of character holding, where they would just disappear people if they were gone that week. They would just disappear in the bag of holding and then mysteriously reappear the next week. And just kind of hand wave it. Usually there's a reasonable thing we can offer as an excuse for why they're not there. We really should eat this to get it out of the way. I've also done, if it's the rogue that's missing, we often say that they were there the whole time. They just rolled really well on their stealth check. I don't think I've ever done that. We did have that a couple times. In the Tuesday group, the person that is the rogue assassin has had several weeks in a row where she has fumbled acrobatics checks, or stealth checks, or initiative rolls. Like it's just really appalling how badly she's rolled. So much so that I think I may gift her another set of dice for the next session, because she's threatening to to give up on this set of dice. And it's like, well, yeah. Maybe they need a timeout. Okay, well, that didn't work. Oh, come on. You can do this. Okay. $15. We're looking much better. Okay, how are we doing time-wise? We are on day 14. So at least 3 days left.
This pack is getting kind of heavy.
Are we doing Cattail Creek? Considering it, but Hammer is my top priority. can actually go back and get the memento cache.
I think I can use this.
I'm debating where I have a better chance of finding the hammer at this point. I looked at all the usual places that I can think of. So the next step up would be to go up Cattail Creek, go into Ravine, check and see if it's in Ravine. But we still have a few more days, so it's either that or I don't know.
Come on, little fire. Come on.
Oh, it's pretty gusty out there. Okay, let's see what else we can do here. Okay. Nothing to beachcomb. Weird. Yeah, I looked there already. I think I've seen that like once in all my time since the refresh. Once I got it there. I think I may have also once found it in Crumbling Highway. But I think Ravine is slightly more likely than the Crumbling Highway spawn. Oh. Hmm.
Come on, Loper. Oh, yeah. That's good.
Okay, I'm going to take a short bio break. I'll be back in a few minutes. Yeah. See you soon. Okay, we're back.
I'm not sure I can carry much more.
We have so much flour. We left one behind at the ones that, we have 2 of them again.
Hope nobody needs this anymore.
Ooh.
Hope nobody needs this anymore.
Look at that. All our crackers coming together.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer. This pack is getting too heavy to carry.
Okay. What are we doing here? I think we'll push on until we get to Misanthropes, and then we'll we might wrap up then. So I'm starting to get sleepy. Must be getting tired. Oh.
I'll take it.
So I was a little underprepared for my game last night because this is so silly. Because when I got home, I was craving spam musubi, which make by frying spam and kind of a teriyaki sauce, and then serving it with sushi rice and nori, seaweed, and you kind of assemble it in these little sandwich things without the sandwich, bread. It's just, it's like a big block of, kind of like a sushi block. Hard to explain. Very tasty. Made a batch, and it took longer than expected to get everything done. And so by the time I got done, it was like, oh, crap, I got like 20 minutes before I'm supposed to be ready for a game. So I was hoping to have more like 45 minutes. It was still okay, but I was just inside. I felt a little disappointed in myself for not budgeting more time. But like I say, part of the problem is just like when I get home versus when people want to start the game. But it's a delicate balancing act because I don't want to run too late because I get tired and it gets late for everyone else to travel. You wait too long when you have to deal with construction on some of the subway lines, things like that. So it's got to start 7, but can't start earlier than 7 because then I would have no time and a lot of other people would be just getting off of work, so that won't work.
I've never been so hungry in my life. I can barely walk with this much gear. What have we here?
Well, that's impressive. Well, that's not going to keep if we don't eat it, so let's go ahead and eat it. It's 3 kilos, 3.5 kilos. It's heavy. Oh, that's clever. Oh.
This'll come in handy.
Okay, I'm definitely getting sleepy now. Okay, so got a few more things we can break down. Will let me finish? No, it's too dark. Okay, still good. risk again. Okay, we're all set. Okay. Yeah, it's getting. I'm getting sleepy, so I think we're gonna wrap up here. We're day 14, almost day 15.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
We're on day 15. Okay, so we just need 2 more days here. Okay, so we're saved. It's day 15. Update this too. And then we'll go figure out who. Well, read a poem and then we'll figure out who we can go raid. Okay, so let's do that here. Read a poem. Okay. Well. Distracted. Brain freezing. Let's see. Poem chooser. The country I call home. Vigil. List. We haven't done list for a while. Okay, so we'll read list. This is from Babbage's Dream, published by Sundress Publications in 2017. I'm going to read a poem entitled List, which is part of a series of poems inspired by programming terms. This is a list. An ordered set of data elements, each containing a link to its successor. Here is a strange symmetry, an awkward holding of hands, this marched chain of gestures, how nothing begins without an arrow shot into the dark, without the movement of old trees drunk in the wind, unsettling themselves from the earth. A coordinated leaning and fall, or how men gather at the edge of a burning building, buckets in hand, passing along the gift of water to the mouth filled with flame, and how we erase ourselves in such moments, become mere machine, an assemblage of anonymous parts, a blur of arms, hands, heads, our eyes stinging with cinder and heat, and above us the articulate chaos of birds, turning in unison, unbound by wires, carried forward by whatever lurks in the imperceptible change in the air. And afterwards, how we take stock, everything a pile, an interrupted story, an unchecked name, a number to be verified, catalogued, inscribed in pen, or marked on a gravestone next to another and another. How what goes inside any container becomes invisible until it is spilled, until it is carried at last to its destination and opened, like a package sent from a world removed, how it might hold anything, an unpaired shoe, a handful of nails, a toy rocket, a series of lines, a bit of code written to burst into flower. Okay, that was List. So List, obviously, well, one of the interesting things about it is the poem itself is exactly that, a list. It's all one continuous stream of language broken up into chunks separated by commas. There are shifts within it. It feels kind of like sentences and phrases that could connect with each other, and they do, but at the same time they are also floating in the soup of individual chunks and pieces, just like a list in C or C++ or Python or a number of other languages is basically that. There's a reference here to an arrow shot into the dark. We used to call, like if we're building a linked list in C++, it was a pointer to, you had an element that was a pointer to the next element in the list. So these memory pointers. And so I kind of reimagined them as arrows shot into the dark. And then there's this whole movement in the middle to we've got this fire, this image of a burning building or some sort of natural disaster. And then out of that, all these people come together, even though they're complete strangers and unknown to each other, and they form something of a machine in the sense that, this bucket brigade, this collaboration where we turn into components of a larger machine for the sake of trying to save or trying to recall or trying to bring back together. And then something about the poem shifts again. We find ourselves in the aftermath of a disaster, and whether there's some nods to 9/11, but also it could be a plane crash, it could be a number of things, where all these interrupted lives are just bits and pieces of things that, devoid of context, seem, completely abstract and, and disconnected, but taken as parts of someone else's life, they're all that remains. And that's actually kind of a very subtle nod back to one of my favorite poems of all time, a poem that really, woke me up to what was possible in contemporary poetry. And it's a poem by Philip Levine called Letters to the Dead. And it's basically him he reads a number of obituaries in the newspaper. That's how the poem begins. But then he starts imagining, these scenes, these places, these spaces, these homes, these workshops, and little places where they're no longer present, these people, but the trappings of their lives, their keys, their butcher's smock, whatever it is, still left there as if they were about to return, about to step right back into that life. And so, it was just really remarkable. I remember reading that, when I was pretty young. I think I was 21 and I had just gotten back to the States after 2 years in Taiwan. And I was struggling, trying to figure out how to write poetry again. I remember reading that book in the bookstore. I bought the book too. I read the poem in the book, and I started to think about, this is what's possible. We don't have to be ornate. We don't have to be like this highly decorative 19th century romanticism. No, there's a way to be really honest, really true, and yet very artful, even within plain speech. And so that was the thing that really captivated me. It's like the ordinary life and lives around us are already remarkable. We just need to see it that way. And we don't need to, we don't need to sentimentalize it. We don't need to romanticize it. But there is still a way that, if you give it the silence it needs, the space it needs, it really turns into something remarkable. So anyways, me blathering on about poetry. Thank you all for hanging out with me tonight. We are going to get ready to head out, raid someone. Let's first do a little research here and see who is up. We got Hyperman. We got Ify Blackheart. Tormuse, still trying Misery. Maybe we'll go back while they're Tormuse. Let's do that. Okay, so let's get this raid started here in a second. Yeah, hopefully we figure out where the hammer is. I worry that it may mean a very delayed forge if we're not lucky, but we'll keep trying. Okay.